Okay, and I'm going to now tweet this out if it would go up on my timeline.
Are you going to be in the background?
I guess.
Okay.
Love that. Just have pop in in the background.
Do you want to read this book?
Yeah.
Well,
I haven't focused on this paper. So.
Okay, that's fine.
Is live.
Did you tweet it?
Yes. I know a bunch of people read this month, so. Who is talking? Okay.
What account did you tweet on?
Huh?
Aphrodite Reads.
Okay. I'm gonna wait a little bit. Hello, everybody. Monty, I'm very excited to hear your thoughts, as always. Oh, wait, just oh, hello, Chelsea.
Hello.
Okay.
I'm trying to tweet the photo I took of this book, but I think I deleted it. That's great.
Okay. Love
that for me.
All right. Hello, guys. Welcome to the live show for the Romance Book Club. And I guess we'll start off with a quick little synopsis of the book. So the Bromance Book Club is about this guy who has been set by his wife, served a divorce, or said they were going to get a divorce because he does not please her in bed. So him and his fellow baseball team members have this little romance book club where they read romance books to kind of get his wife back and woo their spouses. So that is the synopsis. You guys want to say quick ratings?
Are we going to do introductions?
Oh, we're getting fancy.
I'll do both in one. I'm Carly. My channel's Carly's Books, and I gave this 5 out of 5 stars.
Oh, I love that. Chandler Ainsley, and I gave it 4 stars.
And then Heather, hello, you're on my channel, and I also give it 4 stars. Okay, so I guess we should just do overall thoughts. Carly, what made you give it 5 stars?
I am not a huge romance reader. I barely ever read it, and I only wanted to read this for the cover and because it was one of the most unique synopses I'd heard in a while. And I think that's what I loved about it, was how unique of a story it was. It didn't just follow girl meets boy fucks up, girl actually messes up, and then they have to make up, and then they fuck and they get back together. It was I think following a couple who was already together and having trouble, and the whole family aspect with the kids and stuff was just something very different for me that I've never read before, and I really loved it. I loved just the look into marriage, and I also love sports players, so I loved that part, and I loved the whole bromance part. I loved his friendship with his guy friends, and I loved every aspect of it. I almost didn't give it 5 stars because I was is it a 5-star book? But I think because I just loved it that much and didn't want to put it down, that I had to.
Yeah, I binged it all last night and
it's super quick.
hours. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've never read a second. I mean, I haven't read too many romances, but I have never read like a second chance romance, and I don't think I've ever read a romance with like married couple before either. So that was really interesting. I didn't like the kids, like I didn't care about them, but I mean that's just me. So like I don't think the whole family aspect is for me, but I did like the second chance aspect of it, and it was very, very realistic. Even though, like, of course, there's like he's like the celebrity sports player, so not really realistic in that sense. But everything from like just their interactions to maybe not the best friends and their like awareness of the patriarchy. Not that men can't, know about the patriarchy and whatever, but like when they got a pumpkin spice latte and they started to do a whole essay on toxic masculinity, I was like, oh, okay, that's what we're doing. But I felt very invested in the whole thing that was happening.
I liked it despite the fact that it was a second chance romance. I usually cannot stand them because I'm like, you fucked up once, you don't deserve a second chance. This book worked for me though because it's not like they were divorced or anything. They were just going through a rough patch, and I feel like that's realistic. I feel like most second chance romances are just so unrealistic, and I just immediately hate the guy. I didn't feel that way in this one. I kind of agree with you, Heather. I didn't really care about the kids, and I'm someone who, if it's well done, can appreciate kids in romances. Like, I think one of Tessa Dare's books has children, like the Governess Game, that's what it's called. That one was great. Love kids in that regard. It depends on the romance. I think sometimes they're just thrown in there to like make the hero look good. I feel like that kind of was the case in this book. I mean, I don't know. It didn't really like do it for me, but it didn't upset me either. I think my main criticism of the book is that the lessons that he learned, I think, weren't actually learned. It's like he was trying to put things into his life that he learned from the book, but he didn't seem to learn what the reason behind certain things was. And I didn't feel like he would do something from the book that he was reading and piss her off, and he wouldn't learn why he pissed her off. He would just I wish he had like done a little bit more introspection. That was like my main complaint throughout the book is like, okay, like you're doing these things from the book, but what happens when the book's over? Like, are you going to find a new book? Like, I think you need to learn, like, romance novels are a place to look, but you kind of have to go beyond that as well. And I think that's what Monty's main issue with the book was too.
Yeah, I definitely felt that way sometimes reading it. I was like, oh, but like when she found the book, I was like, she has a point. Like I don't know, but I felt like he was only doing these things just because he felt like he had to, not because he felt like he should be a better husband. And I kind of felt like he didn't feel like he felt more like he should be a better person towards the end. Like he said it definitely. But yeah, I think I just love, like, despite, I will say, like, I had problems with it. Like, I really didn't like some of the conversations, like, between, like, Liv and them and stuff like that.
Honestly.
What?
I did not like Liv at all.
I hated Liv. And there was like some other things, like the whole like wedding thing was weird. But I don't know. I just wanted to give it 5 stars because sometimes you want to do that.
Sure. And it was satisfying to read, and it really is an original concept. I mean, I read 50% romance, and this was original for me, so like that's enough, in my opinion, to bump it up higher than it maybe should have. Probably would have given this like a 3-star otherwise, but like fresh ideas. So
yeah, when he started like doing like word for word with the romance books, I was like, you should not have done that, sir. And then I knew something was gonna happen in that case. I don't know how I would really react to that if I was in that position. I feel like I wouldn't get that mad.
I would find it funny.
You know what? You've been on through this effort, and it's like those lines were nice. So I'm like, whatever. But
my expectations for men are so low that like it would just be funny to me. It'd be like,
yeah, kind of sweet. Personally, manipulative.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, I think one of the aspects I really liked is that And like some problems I found with like second chance romance before is that Thea did have some issues. Like she was in the fault at sometimes. Like she really like was like, I'm not going to try at all. And like what like, and I feel like especially when you have kids, and I feel like this is like the point of it. Like I don't know. I guess like as someone who like has seen family go through divorce and stuff like that, that like that's why I kind of like the kids being there, because it just gave that extra like this is why they're trying, and also because he loves her. But and I felt like she just sometimes was a little like not giving, like she was just really holding back. And like obviously anyone is like, I don't know how I would react in that situation, and women are very entitled to their reactions to things at all times. So I think I just like, because it was from Gavin's point of view, sometimes I was like, come on, Thea, let's hurry this up a little bit. But then I would like close the book and be like, actually, she's made point.
Honestly, first in regards to Natasha, like that, the whole thing about the queer, that moment when Dell was like getting all up with Gavin, and Gavin was like, I'm slightly aroused right now. I was like, is this what's happening right now? Like, do you guys not remember that? Like that, like
I don't.
What part?
When Dell was like, it was like early on in the book, and Dell was like getting his romance action on, like, showing Gavin how he needs to be, and like he backed Gavin up into the wall and was like all like looking at him and like flirting with him, like showing him how to like flirt with his wife, and Gavin was all like, I'm slightly aroused right now, and I'm not gonna lie. I was like,
okay, this is gonna be a series, so I would love to see one of the guys having relationship troubles and realizing that like he is gay and that he just like
I would absolutely love I know the second book is about Liv and Mac, but I would love for one to be about Dale, because he was my favorite character. I loved him so much.
yeah,
like,
I loved him.
I thought he was so adorable, and his family was interesting and cute.
Yeah. Also, I don't know if like you said, Carly, about how like women are entitled to like feel what they want to feel. Like I totally agree. I just don't really understand their initial conflict to begin with. I get that it was because like, oh, he wasn't paying attention to her, like her in general, like in bed, outside, like not really giving her attention. And then when he found out that she was faking it, he like went into the guest room and whatever. But like, I don't really understand why she was so outraged about it, because I feel like I would be pretty pissed off if like I found out that the other, like my partner was lying about that, because that's still communication issue. Like,
yeah, I guess that's what I was trying to say. It was like Thea was at fault too, because she was not communicating honestly to him. Like I obviously like just having a busy career is no excuse to not pay attention to your family. Like, but it is something that when you're in that situation, you kind of have to take into account. Like, I need to sit down and have an honest relationship with my spouse and like tell them the issues that I'm going on. And like, that's the biggest deal usually in romance novels is like miscommunication. So I think that was like definitely the like underlying whole thing of this.
I think it's funny because I feel the same way. Like miscommunication is one of my least favorite things in romances, but that's the majority of the conflicts we have with our partners, right? Like miscommunicating, not telling our true feelings and intentions. And I did feel that Thea was pretty annoying, but given the fact that her own family, like her mom and dad, had a really fucked up marriage and relationship, totally makes sense that she would the way she does, and that she had no model for what a healthy relationship looked like. She just fell in love and thought that things would be good from there. I think a lot of people just assume that if you're in love, like that's enough, but it's not. So,
and I think that's why it was so important at the end of the book that she did dig into the backstory, as it was called, because like there was issues that like wasn't just within their marriage that had to be addressed. Like when they were talking, the bromance club was talking, and they were like, "What do you know about Thea's family?" And he was like that's a problem if you've been married to someone for 3 years and they haven't. I mean, it's sad that she hadn't opened up to him yet, and there was obviously problems that made that. But I know if I was with someone and that was like still something, I would feel a little insecure about it, honestly.
Yeah.
I just know it took me a while to like even figure out what she was mad about.
That's fair. I mean, they did too.
It was kind of like not really stated until towards the end when he finally told them like that he did go. I thought, oh, he just like she was like, oh, I've been faking it, I want a divorce. But no, it was because he went into the guest room and didn't talk to her for like a day or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's
but like oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, I don't know if this book would have really been helped by a dual POV, but I kind of wish we had more insight into what she was thinking.
Yeah. I kind of wish it would have started. I would have liked it better if it would have started that night, like when they were having sex and she faked it, because it would have given us more idea of what was going on. Instead, we're just like open into a drunk man on a floor being like, I'm getting a divorce.
Yeah.
So we talked a little bit about Liv. Like, how did we feel about the characters? So like we can start with Gab. Do you have any like specific examples about like Gab or Thea, or we can move on to the side characters?
I think Gavin like truly was a nice guy. Like he was just an average person, I guess. Like he had his faults, of course. But I don't think he ever had like malicious intentions. He did know how to pick a fight, that's for sure. I would get so mad at him because he would do something, it would make her mad, and then he would get mad that it made her mad instead of like trying to fix it, which was like the whole point of this thing. And like, I don't know, they just have so many communication problems. But I liked him. I never like was like, oh, I hate him so much. And that's probably because it's from his point of view. I think that really helped that.
Someone asked in the chat if Liv is the heroine. Liv is the heroine's sister, who is very opinionated about Thea's relationship with Gavin.
And you know what? Like, I was very much annoyed with Liv, but I also identify so much with her. Like, especially in regards to, like, if I think about how I am with, like, my friends, and, like, if they go through, like, bad shit, like, I am like first on like, let's go, I'm gonna kill them. And I never forgive them. And I always am like, don't go back. Don't you don't, like, I'm always that person, and I go hard. And so like, I get it.
That's probably what her annoying is, because she reminded me of me.
Yeah.
And I kind of realized like how bitchy I sound. But
exactly, some self-reflection.
Yeah, that's what we need. I would like to know their astro signs. I would like to know Liv's.
I would like to see it. Liv was my favorite. See, yeah, I see, because obviously because you're looking through Gavin's perspective and Thea's, and like this is a romance about them, and like Liv was just getting in the way
to be together.
But it's like so realistic to like how most people would be, especially considering the conditions of their marriage. It's like, not that they weren't like valid in their emotions, but like she gets pregnant, they were only together for like a few months, then she gets pregnant, and then they get married, and their marriage wasn't the best. Like, I see.
Was it 3 years that they were married?
Yeah.
That's like nothing. I mean, like, I've been with my partner for almost 10 years, and I don't think we really knew each other until like 5 or 6. Like, to be honest, I can't imagine being in that circumstance.
Yeah.
Crazy. Yeah, it was when I like learned that, I was like, yeah, y'all have problems. So that's not surprising at all. Like, let's see. I have some notes. Let me see if I have any. How did we feel about the sex scenes, the romance scenes? How did we feel about the romance itself? Like,
fine. I don't think I was like, damn, this is fucking steamy, but it was fine.
Yeah.
I don't ever read anything smutty, really, so I enjoyed it for what it was.
I thought it was really realistic. Like
Yeah.
I liked that aspect because
I love the part at the end when he spanked her and she was like, "Did you just spank me?" And he was like, "Yeah." She's like, they're just like, they're all like, "Oh yes, baby." And then she's like, "Did you just spank me?" And he's like, "Yeah." And she was like, "Do it again, see if I like it." And then I think
I like that too.
that was pretty funny. Like I really liked that part.
Yeah, that's why I was like, it's really realistic. They seem to be like super like unpassionate, at least in their marriage vibe. So then like as he was like, she was like, "Did you wink at me?" Like, and then when she was like, and he was like, "I wink at you all the time," and she's like, "No, we remember. Like, women remember when men wink at us. You do not wink at me." Like, it was just, I loved that. I thought it was so. This book was really funny to me. I had a lot of lines that I was just like, "That's cute. It's cute."
Before we go there, though, the only thing that I have highlighted is some wording I didn't like. His lips touched the seam of her desire, and then swollen nub. I'm a little picky, I guess, on language use with smut scenes, and maybe it's just like how invested I am, because I feel like if I'm really invested in the characters, I'm not going to care if she says some like weird stuff, you know, like he's engorged, remember, like I probably wouldn't even like blink. This I remember thinking when I was reading, I was like, maybe it's not great.
I hated when she said my wet curls. I hated that so fucking much.
I guess it's because I don't like when I read like smut and stuff. I don't like I like. It's not that I skim. I guess.
Yeah.
I don't really read the actual line, like the word.
I read more dialogue, I guess.
Yeah.
But I guess it was taken out of enough.
I also really, really love that when she came home and she was like ready to go, she was like, "Let's go." And like she didn't, orgasm that one time. And I was just like, I loved that because it showed that like it didn't just go away in the moment. And like they still had to like work on it. And he was just like, he's like, I don't know, man. I don't know what you need to do.
And she was like, "You can't just coach me into an orgasm," because he was like,
"Oh my god, yeah."
I loved every part with Thea and the wags, the other wags. That's where like I got like so much of like the sports stuff that I liked, because when she went off on Rachel both times, I was living. That shit was nice, because like bitches really do be talking shit about people, like especially married people when they don't have like much else to do. I've seen it with like moms and from high school and stuff. They just talk shit about each other all the time. And I really liked when Thea was like defending herself to them finally.
Yeah, well, and like it didn't seem like she ever didn't defend herself. Like, even like from the moment Rachel came in the room, like she was like, "Oh, you're here," and she's like, "Yeah, what are you gonna do about it?" That she was automatically confrontational, because that's me. Like I couldn't be that person that would like just be quiet about it. So like I love that she would always just like pop off. Like that was awesome. And like bless Chan for like being up with the chat, because I always forget. So sorry guys. I said bless you for keeping up with the chat, because I'm terrible at that.
I'm pretty bad at it usually.
Let's see. Oh yeah, I have the one highlight that Liv did irritate me when she said, "Maybe mom will support you. You're officially her daughter." I was like, "God damn, Liv." But like too far.
What did you guys think about like the whole thing about Gavin stutter? Because I know I've never read a book with a character with a stutter, and I listened to the audiobook for half of this, and I thought it was really cool.
No, I loved it.
like a main heroine who was a really attractive man with a stutter, because it's like usually it's stereotypically like a nerd, like in a lot of old media. So I'd never seen like that kind of like speech impediment representation, I guess.
I mean, we have representation in most romance. Besides, like, now we see a little bit of like racial diversity. We don't see. I've never seen a hero with glasses. Like,
yeah,
he has to have a 6-pack, regardless of race. He has to have a 6-pack. He has to be over 6 foot. I wish there was a little bit more like diversity in appearance and personality and in stutter and stuff like that. Like, it makes people real.
Yeah.
And I just prefer it.
Yeah, I liked it too. I didn't know about that going in, so that was a nice surprise. But you haven't read Sadie, Carly?
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess I meant like in a romance book.
Yeah.
Like a very romanticized person. Like
okay,
like a love interest. I've never like read a love interest.
Yeah. And she said that like yes, he does stutter in bed, and it's sexy.
gorgeous.
I was like, that was cute. That was cute.
I love that.
One part I didn't like so much was when he punched Mac. I don't know. I just don't like violence that much, and I thought it was like a little out of place. Like, I understand him getting mad. Like, I would also get mad, but like punching someone at like a Thanksgiving dinner,
I loved that because he freaking deserved it.
Yeah, he did deserve it.
Like, I thought that was just so, I could not believe that happened because like Mac is in like the book club.
I know. I was like, did I read his name correctly? Like,
I was just so angry. Like, like in the middle of them like having this marriage thing, and then he's like, your wife is so freaking hot, man. And I'm like I would have punched him. Like that.
It was like just a little out of place, really. I don't know if it's setting something up for the second book or what, but I'm trying to think of anything.
Let's see
else that I had a comment on.
I thought, I mean, it still kind of goes to the reiterating of like the communication, but when Gavin doesn't even know, like when he said like, how the hell am I supposed to know what Thea likes? I'm like, you don't even know what your wife likes, like at all? Like, I thought that was crazy. And then they were like, how long have you two been married?
Yeah. I think he kind of surprises himself sometimes with what he does know that she likes. Like, when he was talking about the daisies and it surprised her too, like that he remembered the daisy in her hair, or just like the whole like coffee shop thing.
Yeah, the book.
Okay, this is so random, but like when I first started the book, there's a part where he goes down in the kitchen and he makes coffee and he like says, I threw a bunch of shit in it because I'll never understand anyone who drinks it black. And then I was like, why would you even, like, what is the point of that line? And then he was like, I went to that coffee shop every day hoping I'd see you, even though I hate coffee. And I was like, oh.
I see.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, that's kind of cute. And then when they started reading to each other, that was really cool too, especially since he does have a stutter, because I've seen things where people don't like for example, my roommate's a elementary ed major, and she talks all the time how like she has students with like speech impediments and they won't read out loud. So I thought it was really cool that he was the one to read out loud to her and stuff like that. So I thought they had really cute moments.
Speaking of reading, how did you guys actually feel about the excerpts of the actual book that they were reading? I thought that was cool that
I was hoping we would get excerpts. I really liked the part, but the actual like story, I was a little like confused. But
I wasn't totally invested in it, but I liked that she included.
Yeah, when I first turned the page and it was like an excerpt of the novel he was reading, I was like, all right, yeah, like that.
Mm-hmm.
I was fine with them. I didn't feel like they were well placed and or it wrapped up well. I think had it like mirrored the actual story more. I think I would have been more invested. Because we don't really get the beginning of their story, if that makes sense. I don't know. I didn't care. I read them, but I was just like about it.
I didn't really like the story, but I did like that there was excerpts, I guess, because I don't know. I just didn't read the story towards the end. I don't know if I missed anything important, but I skimmed it, or I was listening to it, so I just kind of blanked out.
I wonder if the author's gonna like publish like novellas of them or something. I don't know. I don't know how she's gonna go on with the series.
But I'm interested in the second book. From the cover, you can tell like it's like a spy romance or something like that. And
it looks a little stalkerish to me, but
like at least it's not another historical romance. At least we're gonna get like some diversity, not diversity, but like variations of different romance books. Yeah. But it does look stalkery, I will say.
Yeah, it does. It looks a little sus. It does.
Yeah.
But like I'm kind of really excited for it because I thought Liv was annoying in this, but I also love her snarkiness. So I feel like in her own book, I'm gonna like really.
It's gonna be an interesting dynamic, her and Mac, I think, because they're both such outspoken people. So
yeah, and she like totally dissed him. So,
do y'all think it's gonna be dual POV?
I hope so.
Probably not.
I understand her choice to not make it dual POV for this one because it was about him and his journey in the.
Well, it followed Thea sometimes.
Yeah,
it was from Thea's point of view sometimes.
But I don't know. I think I want more.
I wanted more Thea for sure. But
what is this writing? Is it third person present?
Third person limited.
Yeah, third person limited.
I don't know like the proper terms, but I know
it changes the perspective that it's limited. Because like sometimes we start chapters and it's Thea.
I just honestly, I think I would have maybe even enjoyed the story more had it been first person.
Romance book should be first person.
That's what really fucked me up about Red, White, and Royal Blue. Like I liked
to say. Some people literally did not read that book because it was first person. Yeah, I mean not first person.
Yeah,
I don't have any preference. I guess I prefer third person over anything. So I guess because I just haven't. I don't know. Really, the only romance novels I only started reading them this year. So I read Red, White, and Royal Blue was like the first one. So that was third person. So I guess I just don't know better.
Yeah.
I
love third person in fantasy, but first person in contemporary or romance.
Yeah, I agree.
Just because like third person is necessary for like other worlds to me because you get more perspective, but like I don't need third person if it's just a romance book, and like you get more. It's more about the characters themselves. So, but yeah. Let's see. How about you guys in the chat? Like, if you guys read this book, what did you guys give it? Oh, someone said Fixer Up was also trash because of it. Oh, Fixer Up was third person.
Fixer Up was trash for a lot of reasons.
Oh.
I didn't love that. I just didn't like some of the tropes in that book, but I didn't even question the third person in that one. So I guess that shows how much I know. I thought it was in first person. I don't know why I don't remember that.
Is that the new trend with like traditionally published romance books now with like the illustrated covers and everything?
Just how most traditionally published romances go. It's usually third person limited. Mm-hmm. And it's fine. I just don't feel as invested in the characters typically. And I'm like romance, it's about the fucking characters at the end of the day. So I just don't like it. Honestly, I don't really like traditionally published romances. So I was kind of taken aback that I liked this one, but
yeah. Oh yeah, Kiss Quotient was third person too. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Objectively, it's a 3-star read, but I gave it a 1. Did you give it a 1 because of like when we discussed like Gavin didn't really learn from his actions? Third person works for plot driven and first person works for character driven. Yeah, that's pretty simple. Like authors, hello. Listen to us that aren't authors. Like, I know. Speaking of Casey, their second book, I know they wrote it in first person
and changed it,
and then they were all like, "Never mind, I'm gonna change everything." And I know a lot of people were like, no.
I don't know. I just love third person. I'm gonna prefer third person in every genre I read. So I was very happy with that. But I do get the whole like you want it to be more character driven, so you want first person. I get that. I do. Yeah. But just not me.
I mean, if we're getting real here, your perspective shouldn't make a difference on if you're like, because good writing is good writing. It shouldn't really make a difference. But
I don't know, like first person, like just seeing makes me, I don't know, maybe it's the old fan fiction writer in me who tries to forget those days where I wrote in first person.
That's fair. That is fair.
And I think honestly, like I kind of, someone said to me one time, third person, they like third person when it's more perspectives, because if it switches up, if they're just saying you don't know who it is.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Oh, that is 100% true. First person multiple perspectives will never work for me,
unless you put the name up there, like
yeah.
I really like it for romance. Like, well, third person multiple POV in fantasy is great. If you're going to do dual POV, it needs to be first person in romance.
I think it's fine as long as you can make the voices distinct, but I've just read too many times of like multiple perspective first person where they haven't like made the voices distinct enough. So like I would be like, wait, whose chapter am I on again?
Yeah, I mean, when it's het romance, you can tell if it's guy or girl.
Yeah, you're right. Rick Riordan does that a lot. He writes in first person with multiple perspectives, and I have to go back and be like, whose chapter is this?
Yeah. But the book felt like it was setting
totally different genre
to just co-parent, because they really seem to learn from any issues they seem to have with each other. Yeah. That's fair. I know too many characters though, like Beartown switching between POVs could be. Yeah, I mean, I'm not a huge fan of like multiple POVs, like in general, like 3 max. I don't want to read more than 3 perspectives, but that's just me personally. So I
released it. That's
what
6 of Crows. Let's have 6.
Oh yeah. I mean, like, it's not gonna deter me from reading a book or enjoying it, but like if I had to choose, I wouldn't want that. But it also kind of like when you have multiple characters, like with Devouring Gray, and like you know the perspective of the characters you actually like care about. Until the second book, but
to get back on this book, we haven't talked about the cover.
Oh yes, most important thing.
When we started this book club, I really wanted us to do an illustrated romance cover, because they have really been hitting the shelves this year, and they're all gorgeous. Like, so this is a good one. I love it. I think it's so cute.
I really, really love it too. And like
the daisies, that's sweet.
Yeah. And just like, I love a good butt shot. Like, that's we got some Levi jeans.
And that's some great. I was looking at like the authors tagged photos on Instagram today. Like everybody and their mama was posting like a bookstagram of the book in their back pocket with their butt, and I was like,
wow. That's so cute.
And
I also love that we have Chan on here too, because I know there are some opinions in the romance, because like you are in the romance community, we are not. So like I love to hear like your thoughts on the whole illustrated cover trend. And I know you've said it before, but if you
I'll reiterate. I think it's a little bit overdone. I like that it's bringing new people into the genre, but it is frustrating as well that there are people that still won't read established authors because of the covers of books. And I get it, like, because of the society that we're in, like, you don't necessarily want to go to work with a picture of a guy with abs on the cover, like that, sure. But get a fucking ebook, first of all.
Yeah.
Second, I just like, it's just frustrating. And I think it affected me for a long time too, I think is why I'm so heated about it. Like, I would never pick up historical romance, even being a romance reader, because I was just like, they look cheesy, like I'm not here for it. And then I'd pick them up and they'd be fantastic. And I was just like, why am I letting the cover of this book affect my enjoyment of it?
I guess I haven't thought about that.
I don't know. It frustrates me. And in general, like, I'm glad people are picking up romance, but it is annoying too, just hearing the way that people talk about it and talk about like, well, I only like Christina Lauren because she writes, or they write, like, you know, tame sex scenes because I don't really like smut. Like, everybody's got their preference. I get it, but like,
it is, when people do talk about romance, and I'm guilty of this too, it's very almost like in a demeaning, not demeaning, like making it sound like it's such a bad thing, and people who read it are like immature and not real readers, and like, but like, honestly, this has just made me want to read more romance because and like watching your channel has made me want to read more romance. And like, I am a huge cover person. Obviously me and Heather started this because of covers. I love covers, but that doesn't stop me from reading a book as long as I'm interested in. And like, the thing is I've had to learn about these books, as no one really talks about synopsises of romance books all the time. And so when I watch your channel and I listen to that makes me want to read them more, because I am such a visual person. I do read books because of the cover, but like, I don't think I'd be like, why can't every romance novel have a cover like this? Because even ones who have beautiful covers like this can be trash. So, and I know that.
Yeah. If everybody starts doing those, they're all going to start looking the same.
Mm-hmm.
And I've already started getting some of them confused because I'm like, these are both green illustrated covers. Like, I can't tell them apart. Like, Well Met and The Friend Zone.
Yeah.
Totally look different to me, totally different books. But yeah, like you were saying, I think it's just annoying. Like, people trying to, I don't say act like they're better than other people, but be like, you know, I read romance, but like not the romance that has a lot of sex in it. Like, not the romance that has this particular thing, or like, just like have fun. Like, that's the whole point of romance. I think that's why as a genre I like it, because you're not supposed to enjoy it. Like, society doesn't want us to read these things. They don't want us to like have fun and read about sex and like, I don't know. So,
and also, like, why are you reading, again, like you said, everybody's got a preference, but like, why are you reading romance if it's like B-rated? Like, read it contemporary. Like, I mean, like, it's like contemporary, like, every book has romance in it. So like, why would you actively look for a book in a romance genre and be like, I don't want to read like explicit scenes? And I'm like, but that's the defining, like, it's not the defining factor, but that's like
a big part of, I mean,
that's in the genre. Like,
that's definitely why I steered clear of romance a lot when I was first getting into reading, but now I'm way more into it and am willing to check it out. But yeah, I just think like, okay, like one part when he was reading the book and he like made sure he had to hide the cover with his hand in the diner. I was like, is that because it's just because you're a boy and you don't want to be seen reading like a romance novel with a hot guy on the front? But she was like, the waitress was like, don't be ashamed of that. It's a good book.
Yeah.
I love that part. But
yeah. And I agree a lot with what Carly said. Like, I am totally a cover person. But like, I feel like the thing with romance is just that I've always just been intimidated by it just because of like the sheer vastness of it. And I don't know if that, I don't know, because like fantasy's vast as well, and that's what I read predominantly, but it just like I've only also just started reading romance this year, and I'm like learning slowly like what I like, and it's like you have to read it to find out what you like and what you don't like, you know.
I do
And
think
it's just
I think with romance there is kind of a barrier to entry, and I think that's what was frustrating for me going from young adult to romance. Like I knew that I wanted to start reading things that had sex scenes, like that was my main motivation for reading things. But it took a while to figure out like what was there, and I think at the beginning I was reading like the most popular paranormal adult romance, and then I slowly started to figure out like what I liked in other genres. Honestly, I think indie new adult is so overlooked. I wish more people on YouTube talked about it. And I know like a couple of romance booktubers talk about it, but it doesn't seem like a ton of people in the regular booktube sphere do.
Yeah.
It's sad because I feel like that's the age demographic of most of us, right? Like we're in our 20s. Like I want to read romances about people who are my age, not like 45. So
that's where I see a lot of like side eyeing though. Like I personally don't see a lot. I mean, I know it's there of like I do see like the I don't want to read explicit sex scene, but I see a lot of like people demeaning the indie new adult genre than praising it. Aside from like actual romance booktubers like you and like Riley and
a lot of people are in that lens of like, well, I can't enjoy this book if it has any problematic element.
Yes.
Well, that's part of it. And then I think the other part is that new adult did start pretty shitty, I'm going to be honest, as a genre, but it's come so far. I separate it into two camps. Like there's one type of new adult, and then there's a very different type of new adult. The first is like shock and awe, a bunch of girl hate, like just I don't like. And then there's like the new stuff that's good and targeted towards our age group. And it's annoying when we act like, as much as I love Casey McQuiston, act like Casey's the first person to ever do new adult. Like there's a ton of good stuff out there. It's just figuring out what that is. And that's kind of been my motivation to like share on YouTube. It's A, I like it, but B, it's really hard to find where to start with romance if you're looking beyond just like typical Berkeley published romance.
I think
especially when like you're. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, I think the moral of the story is to try new things and DNF as much as possible. Like DNF when you have to.
Yeah.
You're never like, that's been my thing. Like, I don't know what to read in romance. I don't know what I'm into. I don't know what I don't like. So like, if I go into something, I'm going to DNF it probably like the first time that I am not liking it, because I want to find out like what I do like. So.
And with romance, it's not really an investment, I feel like, to DNF. Like, I don't.
Oh, and they're so fast to read, so it's whatever. Yeah. What were you gonna say, Heather?
Oh, because especially when like all these, there are like 50,000 series, and then they have like 50 million books in the series, and I'm just like, okay, great, let's go.
Yeah. Especially with like paranormal. Like I fucking love paranormal YA, but it's so hard to know where to start with paranormal adult books, because even the best authors have like 3 or 4 different series, and you're like, which one's the best? Like I have no clue where to even start.
My favorite fan fiction back in the day was paranormal, so I am.
Which is why we need booktubers like you.
Yeah, because okay, my favorite like genre when I first got into reading fan fiction, aka reading smut, was sports and paranormal, and so I'm down. I need those.
No, I got you. Yeah, I know you were asking for sports recs. I have a shelf on Goodreads. Let me see what I can find.
I can go.
Okay, off topic. How do you like do your Goodreads? Like, do you after a span? Because I'm the worst at organizing Goodreads, and I can't do it. So, like, do you wait until you have a group? You already do a shelf automatically when you find a book? Like, what's your strategy?
I'm kind of all over the place, and I get annoyed by people whose Goodreads that I go to, mostly romance readers, that have like a million different shelves. Like that's irritating to me. I try to keep my shelves to at least 20 books per shelf. Like if I have only 5 books in a particular subgroup or whatever, I just forget about it. But for me, my reading is so consistent now with like what I enjoy and like the tropes and the subplots and shit that I like. So they're kind of already established. There's not been a lot of shelves that I've added recently, except for like an adult contemporary shelf. So mine's mostly just by genre, and then I have a couple of other random ones like age gap romances, sports romances, paranormal romance, motorcycle romance as well. I think I have a shelf for that. But for the most part, I keep mine just like pretty genre specific.
Okay.
Mine is not organized at all.
Yeah, I like doing kind of that, but
I just made a DNF shelf for the first time, and I'm loving it.
It's
yeah.
I like plan on making like, these are all the books I've DNF'd. Here's my opinions videos.
Yes.
Like,
good idea.
because I DNF books really fast if I don't like them. Like, I am a avid DNFer.
Yeah.
I can name many popular books from this year that I've DNF'd that no one really knows that I even started reading, and so I'm ready to shit on some books.
Some that they tag their books like in format, like they have like a Kindle shelf and then like a physical shelf. I don't organize it like that. No. I know some people also, when they're reading the book on Goodreads, will change the edition to match whatever edition they're reading, like if it's Kindle or I don't give a shit.
Book.
Yeah, no.
I don't. The only thing I even like look at sometimes is if the UK cover is prettier than the US, I will change my edition to that.
Oh yes, same. No.
I will say I did
Sorry.
add an audiobook shelf mostly because I've gotten questions in the past like what are good audiobooks to start with. And whenever I review a book on Goodreads, I try to make a note like I enjoyed this audiobook or I would recommend you read it physically. But I don't do that.
I've gotten more into reading books and the audiobook at the same time. I used to not do that at all, but like I did that with this book, and it just like, I don't know, I just like absorb it so much better, and like both ways, like I absorb it more listening and reading it like at the same time, whether I'm just reading it or whether I'm just listening. And I have really liked that. So sometimes I don't know what to put. Like, I don't know. I read it on both.
I know when I was younger, when I was on Goodreads, like barely, I didn't really use it all that much, but I used to have like a owned but haven't read shelf, or like I haven't read but want like those kind of, and like I wish I had that, but I'm not organized, so
it doesn't really help keep me organized. If anything, it just like ends up being inaccurate, so I try not to do that. I also don't shelve books until I've read them. So if you go to my like sports romance shelf, those are only books that I've read in sports romance. Are that are sports, but like I don't, if someone's going to go through my shelves, I don't want them to see stuff that I haven't read. Like, what's the point of that if you're looking for recommendations? I don't know.
Oh, so but like, do you still have like a want to read list?
Yeah, I mean, like that's how Goodreads works. If you click want to read, it automatically goes to the want to read.
So like, yeah, okay, so you're saying you don't, like, if you want to read a sports romance but you haven't read it yet, you don't add it to the sports romance shelf.
I only shelve things after I've read them.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
I have like a Peter Pan shelf, but that is for my benefit and my benefit only, because I make
that's fair. And like, if I am, I say that whenever I'm planning like videos or like trying to keep a list of certain books that I haven't read yet, I usually do that on Amazon, since that's where I get most of my books, usually from Kindle Unlimited. So like I just have.
You can make shelves private too, which honestly might be better for me. I mean, no one looks at my shelves. No one's like, you know what? I'm gonna go check out Carly from Carly's bookshelves and see what's on her shelves. No one says that, so it doesn't matter.
People have started looking at mine, which is sort of stressing me out. They're like, "Oh, I see you're reading this on your Goodreads." I'm like, how? I don't make it like public, but I just assume people don't really give a shit. I guess they do. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like some people's like main platform, and I'm like, wow.
It used to be mine, which I think is part of why people still look at mine. Mm-hmm. Like I have a fairly decent following on Goodreads that's like kind of separate from YouTube, but I wish I did. Like I wish people.
Yeah, I'm just such a shit poster on Goodreads. Like I couldn't imagine. Like absolutely, like. I read some people's reviews and I'm like, you are the most intelligent person I've ever come across, because you just can write a review after you've read a book, and I can't physically do that. So that's good.
Oh my God. I stopped doing that this month, and I used to every single time I read a book and I finished reading and I rated it, I would write the review right then, because I just word vomit. But I have
that was my goal at the beginning of the year. It didn't happen.
Oof.
Whoa, okay. Apparently I have 10,000 followers on Goodreads.
Wow.
She's popular.
I love that.
Thank you for telling me, Tatiana. I appreciate you.
I don't know how Goodreads works. Like I don't know how to do the bold text. I don't know how to do the italicized. I don't know how to do anything.
That's HTML. That you got to know that from back in the day when you used to update your Tumblr themes.
Oh,
that's all you need to know.
Tumblr themes? I'm a MySpace bitch, so.
Yes, I never did themes.
I was one of those bitches who made Tumblr themes and be like, I'd like put it on my account and I'd be like, sorry, I won't release it until I'm done using it. And then like,
we love a coder.
No, I used to get a lot of hate for it. They'd be like, you're such a bitch not releasing your theme. I was like, I worked hard on it. That's your fault.
Could never be me.
Yeah.
But I like go on Goodreads quite a lot though, because I do like to see like what people are. I love to see people's updates and like when people updates.
I don't update good enough, but I like seeing other people's.
It's nice at work. I think that's primarily why I've been on it lately. It's just nice to have it up, and I can like write a review if I'm bored. That's what I do now.
Yeah.
I like having it up because I don't know. I open the same browsers every time I get on my computer. Twitter, Goodreads, YouTube. They're all there.
The trifecta.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Same. Just
the life of a booktuber who hasn't posted in a month.
Well, I feel like
I think we're good.
Yeah.
For an hour, we're totally off topic.
I don't think we have any other thoughts.
It was my favorite of all our books so far. Huh?
Like, I said any other thoughts in the chat? Like you have like 2 minutes to say whatever your heart desires. I hardly pay attention to other people's updates, but I always update. I like pay attention if I care, which sometimes I don't. Most of the time I don't. But
what's the book for next month?
Oh yeah. Yes, we're doing Winterwood by Shay Earnshaw, and it's actually great because if you guys are doing Fantasy-a-thon, that is their group book. So, but the live show is going to be earlier in the month, obviously, because we're not going to do it the last Sunday because Christmas. I feel like we should do them like.
Talk about that though, because I'm gonna be in Disney World.
Yeah. Wait, when?
The 15th through the 21st.
Oh, okay. I was about to say the 15th. Okay. We'll figure it out, but it'll be like earlier in the month. So get that read. I mean, I probably could do it because I'm going to Tijuana after Christmas, so we'll figure it out.
It might be the first week of January.
Yeah, maybe. That might be better. But yeah, so Winterwood. So look out. I don't know what it's about, but it's got a pretty cover. So
yeah, it's about a enchanted forest that's always in winter.
All right, there you go.
That's all I know. It has a pretty cover, and I have the Owl Crate exclusive, and it's pretty.
So yeah, that's gonna do it for us. Thank you guys for joining in. Thank you, Chan, for joining us for this month. And yeah, that's gonna do it. So bye, guys.
Bye.